Okay. Um, since we can't all be together at the same time in one room to do this, okay. This is part 2. So, when I was reading in Matthew 14, um, it says, when Herod Antipas, the ruler of Galilee, heard about Jesus, he said to his advisors, "This must be John the Baptist raised from the dead. That's why he can do such miracles." For Herod had arrested and imprisoned John as a favor to his wife Herodias, the former wife of Herod's brother Philip. John had been telling Herod, "It's against God's law for you to marry her," because she was a former wife of Herod's brother. So, and King Herod married her. And Herod wanted to kill John, but he was afraid of a riot because all the people believed John was a prophet. Everybody followed John and believed that John was telling us who the Messiah was and who Jesus was, and John and uh, John paved the way for Jesus to come in. But a birthday party, it says, for Herodias' daughter performed a dance that greatly pleased King Herod. So he promised with a vow to give her anything that she wanted. At her mother's arguing, the girl said, "I want the head of John the Baptist on a tray." So she came in and said, "No, I want you to behead John for my mom." Then the king regretted what he had said, but because of the vow he had made in front of his guests, he issued the necessary orders. So John was beheaded in the prison, and his head was brought on a tray and given to the girl, who took it to her mother. Later, John's disciples came for his body and buried it. Then they went and told Jesus what had happened. Just reading about this, I didn't even really know how John was killed. So it was like, this is a new thing for me to be reading in the Word. And so John, you know, was this man who was in the woods, you know, eating locusts, and he was this crazy guy, this crazy character, and you know, this uh, very wise man, and he was a prophet, and he was telling people, you know, that the one who brings us light, he's coming into the world. So, you know, John paved the way, and when he saw Jesus, he knew who Jesus was, and he pointed Jesus out to everyone to let them know, you know, who Jesus is. And now, you know, here, you know, John was like Jesus's best friend. You know, that this was, you know, one of, and Jesus didn't have favorites, but this was one very close to him, and they were knitted closely together. You know, just they were really tight. You know, so, but as soon as Jesus heard the news, he left in a boat to a remote area to be alone. I mean, his best friend had just been killed, so he left in a boat to go to a remote area to be alone. And it says here in Matthew 13, but the crowd heard where he was headed and followed on foot from many towns. They followed him. He couldn't get away to grieve. Um, Jesus saw the huge crowd as he stepped from the boat, and he had compassion on him and healed their sick. He just found out that his his friend was beheaded, and he was trying to get away and to grieve and to mourn and have an opportunity for that. And then he was there for a reason. When he stepped off that boat and he saw them and he healed their sick, this is him showing us that he has so much compassion on us, even when bad things happen. He doesn't take it out on anyone else. He doesn't stop what he's here for. That evening the disciples came to him and said, "This is a remote place and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so they can go to the villages and buy food for themselves." They're trying to give Jesus an opportunity. Like, look at what you've gone through. What you need to let them go, send them on their way. And then Jesus said, "That isn't necessary. You feed them." And then they say, "But we only have 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish." And he said, "Bring them here." Then he told the people to sit down on the grass. Jesus took the 5 loaves and 2 fish, looked up toward heaven, and blessed them. Then, breaking the loaves into pieces, he gave the bread to the disciples, who distributed it to the people. They all ate as much as they wanted, and afterward the disciples picked up 12 baskets of leftovers. About 5,000 men were fed that day, in addition to all the women and children. When I was reading this, it just made me kind of think of how I handle my own situations in life, and what do I do? And there's a time for grieving, and there's a time for getting past someone being taken away. But it's not an excuse to fight against what the Lord wants for your life. Sometimes it's easy to get mad or angry when things happen, but when you look at the Word and how Jesus handled the tragic death of John, he was able to go out and feed 5,000. That's what he did. He went out and he fed 5,000. He went out and he healed the sick. And I believe that that's what we are called to do in memory of our loved ones, is to celebrate their life. And in celebrating their life, it is to go out and worship the Lord for them being here on the planet, and also for you to live up to what that person said about you in your life, and who you were as a human being. And John paved the way for Jesus. John would not want Jesus to do anything other than heal the sick and feed the 5,000, because he was a prophet for Jesus, and he opened those doors for him. And my Uncle Kendall was pretty awesome, and he was very funny. And I loved him very much, and I'm grateful that I was able to share a portion of my life with him, and I'm not gonna let it break me down. I'm not gonna let it make me depressed and want to sleep in my bed all day anymore, because I have done that for a couple days, and I asked the Lord, God, you gotta show me something. I need your help. And that's when he brought me to this word and showed me, what Jesus did when John when John was killed. And there's evil in this world, and I do not believe that every death is from God. I believe there's evil in this world, and God is going to take every death, every loss that we suffer, that we go through, every pain. In Romans 8:28 it says that he works for the good of those who believe in him and who are called according to his purpose. And I know that regardless of this massive loss, that God is going to make up for it, and he's going to provide more healing, and he's going to restore, and he's going to show us the wisdom, the courage that we need to focus on what he wants us to do, so we can feel his love even more. So when something sad or something bad happens, go out and bless somebody. That makes evil run. The evil wants to stay on your back and use these situations to break you down, but it's not going to happen. And I guess that's it. I love everybody, and we'll see you soon.